Well, hopefully no one was watching live while I was doing this a second ago because I really messed up. Well, I didn't mess up. I messed a sign up, and I'm going to start this all over again. This is a 3 here. I have a radical equation that I need to solve. What do? I follow some steps. My first thing is I need to isolate that radical. That's what that says there. I need to isolate what's in here. Okay, just like isolating a variable, now I'm going to isolate a radical. How do I undo that square root symbol? I'm going to square both sides. Then we combine our like terms when we can. We solve. We may have to go back and forth sometimes. We may need to move stuff over. We may need to FOIL, and then we'll solve a quadratic, which is what we're about to do, even when I mess up. So in the middle, we could simplify by factoring things out. I'm not going to do it until much, much later. You could do it earlier, right? You see here that everything has a 3 in common, but we'll work on it later on, okay? So my first step is to isolate the radical. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. That gets removed there and put over here. So my new equation is, I'll move over here to do it, 3x minus 3 is equal to root 18x minus 18. That looks more like it. Look at that. I did something right for a change. That's where I made my big mistake last time. And here we go. Now, what does it say I need to do? It says I need to square both sides to get rid of this radical. So I square both sides, and this cancels that out, right? And so right underneath, and I'm going to shift it over just a little bit because I need some space, 18x, and apparently somebody wants to call me. So I'll have to find out what that is. And now I'm going to show 3x minus 3 times 3x minus 3. All right. Very simple idea. Now I just need to FOIL. That's why I wrote it here, right? I think you guys didn't like having to FOIL again. You haven't done this in quite some time, but let's go ahead and do it. I wrote it out this way. I could have just done the work, but that's okay. Let's do the work together. First, 3x times 3x is 9x squared, right? 3x times negative 3 is negative x is negative 9x, and negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And that's going to be equal to our 18x minus 18. And I'm sorry, I usually like my equal signs directly underneath each other. I'm a little sloppy today, but I think we'll survive it. My next move is to combine these like terms. Doesn't it say combine over there? I'm going to combine these like terms. I could move everything at once, but I don't want to confuse anyone. So I'm just going to combine these like terms right here. And that just means it's 9x squared minus 9, negative 18x, and then plus 9. And that equals, again, our 18x minus 18. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to move everything from over here at the same time, right? I'm just going to show the opposite of this whole thing. So minus 18x and plus 18. Great. Minus 8, another 18x plus 18. And there's our, like that. There we go. And there we go. All right. So everything, bring down the 9x squared. Minus 18, what is that? Minus 36x, and then 9 plus 18 is 26. 7. And if you look at this bad boy, now we got something cooking equal to 0. I see that everything here is divisible by 9. So I'm going to divide every term by 9, divided by 9, divided by 9, divided by 9, divided by 9. If you do it on this side, you got to do it over there too. And we know that 0 divided by anything is just 0. So 9x squared divided by 9 is just x squared. 1x squared minus 36 divided by 9 is 4x. Oh, beautiful. Plus 27 divided by 9 is 3 equals 0. We have a nice factorable, super factorable quadratic here. So I'm going to rewrite it up here. Then I'm going to factor and solve. So I have x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals 0. If you don't know how to factor, you're basically unfoiling, right? So really and truly, this is 9 times it, okay? But I factored out that 9, so I pulled it out. So we'll get there later. X squared, well, that's just x times x. All we're doing is trying to figure out what we multiplied like this to get there, right? X times x is x squared. Now, what factors of 3, when I add them together, give me negative 4, right? What factors of 3 give me negative 4? So it could either be 2 negatives or 2 positives, right? Because this is a positive number and this is negative, so they must both be negative. And what are the factors of 3? Duh, 3 and 1. It's a horrible 1. There we go. Now, all I have to do is solve x minus 3 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. Because if either of these sets of parentheses equals 0, then the whole thing equals 0 because we're multiplying them. All right, so we'll just solve it. X minus 3 equals 0. All right, well, what do? I add 3 to both sides. And x equals 3. Okay, well, there's one of my solutions. And then let's do 1. X minus 1 equals 0. We add 1 to both sides. And so x equals 1. That's my other solution. And the last thing I do is check. Check to see if I have any extraneous solutions, right? But I have to go back to my original equation and see if it works out. So let's try it with 3. 3 times 3 equals 3 plus the square root of 18 times 3 minus 18, right? Okay. This is 9. Okay? And so in here has to be a 6, right? To make this work, because 3 plus 6 equals 9. So 3 plus, okay, 18 times 3 is 54. 54 minus 18. All right, well, 54 minus 18, you know what that is? That's 36. So the square root of 36 plus 3. What's the square root of 36? 6 plus 3. Does that equal 9? You betcha it works. Okay? So now I'm going to check 1. 3 worked. Let's check 1. 3 times 1 has to be equal to 3 plus 18 times 1 minus 18, right? That's what it is. So 3 times 1 is 3. So what are we looking for in here? What do we add to 3 to make 3? Nothing. So this has to be 0. Is this 0? What's 18 times 1 is 18 minus 18 is 0. So square root of 0. Hey, look at that. I have 2 solutions. Both are true. This one checks out as well. A long drawn out process with me pausing mentally in the middle. But look, it's a lot of algebra work, but it works out. All right. Take your time. Don't mess up a sign like I did in the beginning and have to do it all over again. But that's it. Thanks for your time.